Hi, this is Matthew from Everybody Community. I'm here with Justin Helm. We're going to talk about religion today. The idea behind community, compassion community, is people, even though they might be of different religious faiths, we can still cooperate. We can still work together. We can still have a good, strong community, even though maybe some of our ideologies or some of our religions are different. Okay, welcome, Justin.
Hello, Matthew.
Hi. So I know that you have some diverse religious experience, so I wanted to ask you a few questions about that. Now, are you a Christian now?
Yes, I am. Excuse me. I've been so for a while. Mm,
How long have you been a Christian?
Well, that's kind of weird. Technically, I could say, well, for the sake of, I'll just say, it's 2024. Um, no, before, it's for, uh, we'll just say about 6 years. I'd say, I think it is.
Okay. And were you born and raised in a Christian household?
Yes, Matthew. Excuse me. I am a Christian now, and I've been so since 2019. Um, I left well, I get to that part in a minute. I We'll backtrack a little. I grew up in a Christian household, kind of the word of faith, prosperity doctrine kind of thing, really toxic, really to anybody actually. Um, to many churches like but since I have some the physical um ailments you could call them, and they kept telling me, Justin, if you just had a little bit more faith, you'd be healed. And that didn't sit right with me. And so, it's weird. You could say I kind of church hopped for a while. Even and we moved or so some churches in town here. Um, I just went to them really because of the music. So I'm like, they were playing the younger music, like that I was attracted to at the time. Um, like this one church I remember was played. Actually, it didn't play Christian music really. It played a lot of music by you probably know Creed. Like it played Lift Me Up and Arms Wide Open, because they wanted to attract a younger generation. Think that they could get, you know, gotta get saved kind of stuff. But they too were the kind of people that I was just telling you, yeah, Justin, if you just had a little more faith and stuff. So again, it was kind of like, um, nothing kind of sat right with me. So from my mid 30s or so, I kind of gave religion a break for a while, say, and got messed up in some things, but that's here nor there. Began to look on Facebook, and um, at that time I was watching a TV show called Touch, where this little autistic boy, he was uh, literally reading numbers, and I don't mean the book of numbers like in the Bible or in Torah. Um, I mean like numbers, one, two, three, four numbers, where and if he read them, he could stop bad stuff from happening anywhere in the globe. So anyway, that got me interested because, Zodiac, that was part of the Kabbalah, that stuff. There's, Kabbalah Jews, stuff that's the mystic book, Judaism and stuff like that. As far as I'm concerned, so is the Talmud, but a lot of Jews wouldn't agree with that. Um, so at that time, I pursued Judaism as an alternative to Christianity. Um, I made a lot of what I perceived to be Jewish friends on Facebook. At that time, a lot lived in New York, and of course, you can guess a lot lived in Florida, probably Miami and the South City, Miami. And so I began talking to them, and some of my friends actually lived in Israel too, and were in the idea. And I began talking to them, and all of my friends were pro-Israel. But for now, we're gonna set that over here. I began in one day, one of this girl's page. She had a bunch of pictures that were relatively disturbing, or not relatively, they were disturbing. It's Palestinians, um, very bloody and maimed pics. And I don't use that word loosely at all. This is during the, I think, Operation Defensive Shield or Edge, or Operation Protective Edge, I think it was. I mean, yeah, get those operations mixed up sometimes because, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a terrorist group and it doesn't matter. Um, so anyway, I asked, I saw these pictures because I asked her because I saw these pictures on her page of these guys. They were wearing this t-shirt you probably remember. Um, the one shot, two kills picture. And I still remember this lady. She was laying at the checkpoint, or laying at one of the checkpoints. She was beaten, bloody. This guy was aiming an AR or whatever at her, some kind of machine gun at her, and there was this fetal baby by her, all, but it looked like it was dead or something, and I don't know what I could perceive her to be. If she was dead, whatever, I don't know. But it was it was just the whole the concept of here we got, I know that can happen. The one shot, two kills. I know they do this, because I asked the girl and this, I'm sorry, if you, well, if you shoot a, you know, pregnant lady, which, yes, that's what happens, it's gonna kill both of them for, and that's, for, that's what they do is the answer I got when I asked, inquired about it, she said, well, that's what we do. So I began to read more about it in what they call the Torah, just the first five books of the Old Testament, the Tanakh, the Jewish Bible. Um, and so I it just didn't it just no matter what I read, I kept thinking about that that lady, and I can still see her now, and that black and yellow, the black hijab and that yellow um shirt or whatever it was. It was a very but it was a bit damning picture. It was a very it's a picture I won't forget. It was something that it's what made me start looking into um it's what made me start looking into the siege of Palestine. That I think that I think that God had a purpose for me doing that. I think that there's a reason. I think that if I went to if I went to quote left Christianity and to go and do that, I never would have looked into the siege of Palestine, and I never would have become active in this. I never would have become active to me in making, and people laugh at it, making pamphlets. Never would have become active in on demonstrations. People can laugh at that stuff all they want, but I really think that if I really never would have seen that, I don't think that I would have given a damn about any of the siege of Palestine or what was going on. And it's not just Muslims, it is Christians, Jews, all that. And, in Palestine, the Christians get spit on, the Jews get beat, the Muslims are exploited. But when you go to Gaza right now, well, there's a genocide taking place in Gaza. They are eradicating Gaza. Uh, and I am getting off topic. Just so, and but anyway, um, so when I became Muslim, the brothers, there's about 30 of them, just up about 25 miles west of here. They accept, I found them on Facebook, and they took me in as really one of, just like I belong, I was already one of them. And they, I'd say it was one of the most positive experiences I've had so far in my life, in my walk with God, in my, um, just all around, experiences. It's the, even, and not to diminish anything, but social experiences. I had everybody there was my friend. I mean, I didn't have to remember his name correctly or anything, because got some Indian names, some Pakistani names are hard to remember. But when you're someone's brother, you don't have to remember their name. You just say, "Hey, dude, hey, you know, sorry, I forgot your name, brother, but hey, or don't even say sorry, just say hey." And you know, um, and whatever, and it was like a lot of times I would get invited to their house after, a lot of times after like after Juma, or um during the week they'd get invited to their house, um or they'd come over to my house. It was just a really overall good experience, and I have nothing really bad to say about it. The the only reason I left Islam is I'd say the in the Quran, excuse me, in the Quran, in the book of Juma, speaking of Juma, that's the book that talks most about Jesus, or Isa, sorry about that. Mhm. Peace be upon him. Um, the the it always reads about him, a prophet of God, um, and I realized he was he is a prophet of God. Even in Christianity, he's a prophet, but in Christianity, he's more than a prophet. And I think always I knew that, but I think that I was I was just always looking for something else, whether Judaism or what. Well, it wasn't Judaism, but I was just always looking for something else to fulfill some kind of void. But I just couldn't handle, this was like the end point. I just couldn't handle the Jesus is just kind of thing. And I couldn't handle the fact that they said Jesus, a prophet of God, was born of a virgin. Yeah. Um, but the only way he could be born of a virgin And the part of the deity, deity, a prophet of God born of a virgin is he was born a tumor. He was born a tumor. They grow up to be a prophet of God. So, and that was another one that didn't sit right with me. Like, how could a prophet of God be born a tumor? Like, and I asked numerous people in the mosque. One of them's name is Ahmed, and I'm listen, but give his last name. But and he said everything has to be explained by science. Um, and I was like, everything in the Quran has to be explained by science. Then then that would mean I have lots of questions, but that's because they were a group of very, it wasn't like I harbor any um ill feelings toward them because God no, I don't. I love those people to death. I don't have contact with them anymore. And it's mutual. I don't want contact with them. They don't want contact with me. And that's just uh happened after I left the mosque for um other reasons that I'd rather not share. But um things didn't sit right about the scientific thing, like all those closer than or the neck thing, the you know boning or not, the this thing or not. Although I do find that I do there were a lot of positive things, and I found a lot of positive things like that story in Islam, like of Jesus um and that clay pigeon thing, very inspiring story. Um, even for Christians, but a lot of Christians would write it off and say, "Oh, that's Muslim. It's we want nothing to do with it." You know, but that was one of the most inspiring stories, and I still find it to be, even though I left Islam. I still find it to be one of the most inspiring things. One of the stories. I actually believe that Jesus, he actually probably went to India or whatever, and that's something that he did. I mean, he was, oh, well, I'm not going to get into details, but I think that that is one of the miracles that he performed, as the Quran points out. I mean, just because I'm Christian now doesn't mean that I write off the Quran at all. I believe wholeheartedly that not all the Quran is true, but I believe wholeheartedly that a lot of the Quran is true. So does I think I just said find my own way in Christianity or life in general, but in religion. Um like it says in in John 14:6, it says Jesus is speaking, and he says, "For I am the way, the truth, and the life." And I thought that's the Jesus that I was looking for. And but it also says in the I forgot where exactly. I think it's in one of the Gospels. That's Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. That died for the sin of the world. Now, if he died for the sin of the world, it doesn't mean he died for those who had their theology right, or um, everything together, like a lot of um, uh, piety or sense, self-worth or whatever, means you want to add or subtract to that or whatever. He died for the sin of the world. He- It's grace in the Bible. It's a free gift. It says it's a free gift. God's grace is a free gift to mankind. It's on the it's like I'm sorry, but the Jews, of the old in the Old Testament, they had their time. They broke major, the covenant. Then Jesus came and 12 disciples, each representing a tribe of Israel, and he came back to. He's gonna make his own Israel. And he's gonna come back with his heavenly Jerusalem, in so many words. Or it says in, I think, Revelation 24, where it says that it's going to come down, be no more suffering, no more pain, to my favorite, and he's going to sit on the throne and reign for 1,000 years. Now, well, I'm not going to get into the people in Israel. Um, anyway, um, but yeah, so that was what I was that was kind of my charted path, I guess. And I guess it's kind of at this point, I should say, I don't believe in the eternal torment kind of thing. I do, however, believe that we are cleansed before going to like many. parables in the Bible, like of the wheat and the chaff, or and how part of it gets, burned away. The Not that we're literally burnt, but burned. There, but yeah, there's part of us that um is, we are all have a sinful well, that a nature, or whatever you want to call it, I guess, that needs to be redeemed, or not redeemed, uh cleansed, redeemed. Well, I guess redeemed, you could say. And so it's gonna be um well, I don't know how that and no theologian can tell you how exactly things are gonna happen, but I and I don't know for sure it's gonna happen like that either. Because theologians that go to the best Bible colleges interpret the Bible wrong all the time. But I believe it's going to be taken away somehow before we can be in the presence of any kind of um with Jesus. So it's like that. So that was some anyway. The Christianity I was looking for was, know, it's he came to seek and save those who are lost, which is we were all lost, and he did come to seek and save all of us, not just those who have the, three-piece suits on or whatever, the ones like that were in the Jesus Revolution, or, that had their um hippie clothes on, smoking ecstasy and saying praise the Lord afterwards, and flooding the churches with electric guitars and stuff that a lot of like, you know, people like Zionist or whatever would say. Well, a lot of preachers that don't have to be Zionist preachers, but I can't think of any offhand. But like John MacArthur would say, too. Um, but in that was that was what I was looking for, I guess. That was my own. That was what I presumed to be my what I was looking for in a relationship with what I presume to be Christianity. And no, there wasn't anything I really disliked about Christianity per se. Um, Saying there anything I dislike, I mean that's kind of like I said before, there was stuff I disliked about the word of faith and um prosperity doctrines, and still do today, but not Christianity, just those doctrines. And there's still a problem when people try to draw me into those doctrines or, you know, try to uh, cast those doctrines on me, or because a lot of times they do like on social media. Yeah, 'cause, like there's a lot of pastors and even a lot of groups that I will, I guess, ignorantly go into and do, but no, I'm rambling. Sorry about that. But to answer your question, no, there's nothing I didn't like about Christianity. Like I said, it's just those doctrines in general. Because, like I said, when you take apart Christianity, it's in the beginning was the Word. The Word isn't just the Bible. The Word is Jesus. So in the beginning was Jesus. It's unlike some people, like conservative Muslims think that, or will say that Christianity is, you know, whatever wrong, a fallacy or fantasy. I'm sorry, fantasy or what I would say because um or because there's three God. They say Christianity has three gods, but it's not three gods. It's um Jesus is the um like he's the he was the he is the living like expression of an invisible God. Um, if you know what I mean, if you can grasp that. And then the Holy Spirit would be the gift to mankind after he died for man to save us. And none of that is taking anything away from, if you want to say, well, there you go again. I was going to use the word patriarchal, but none of that is taking anything away from God because it's all, could say it's all Jesus or God, but it's all one, you know, but you could say it's all three. It's like, could use an example of like a light bulb or whatever. The that one part, I don't know what it's called, doesn't work without the other part, and none of it works unless it's screwed in. But it's all one thing. It's all one piece. And that one piece gets screwed in, just like God is both. That's a maybe that's a bad analogy, but just I'll use it for notes. Both um shines light in the earth, you know, uh, um I mean that's light would be an analogy for his like Christianity the Christianity and the goodness that Christians do. I like to say that we are little Christians I'm sorry, little Jesuses, um, to do his work. And that God is both in us as we are little Jesuses and in another dimension, whether that's um people always say up, you know, but how wherever that dimension, that heavenly dimension is, I don't know, and I'm not gonna act like I know, like some preachers might, or some theologian again in some Bible college might act like he knows because he interprets the Bible one way and stuff. I'm not going to begin to try to even interpret, you know, Bible where heaven is, where it isn't. But so anyway, I think you have a good idea of uh, where I stand on that. Um, I think so. What did Yes, Matthew, and about doing good works exactly. Um, I don't think that religion exactly has the right to tell anyone, excuse me again, to do good works or any really works at all based on anything. I know a lot of people interpret scriptures to tell them otherwise. I think that people should do good works on basis of their own moral compass. But unfortunately, they don't. Unfortunately, most people do good works based on looks alone, and that just tells you the state of the world itself. But one thing, or a couple things actually, I'd like to point out. Some like cultures in the Middle East, I really adore, is like in the Middle East, you got a lot of people, not only Muslims, but um, Middle East cultures like will either light on uh I'll just use Muslims general or people around Palestine in general. Leave the light on, leave door open and stuff. For the people passing by, the people people on a journey to wherever they're going. I don't but in case you need to stop at night and take rest and or get a drink of water or just get washed up or whatever they need if their animal needs a drink or whatever. And I think that's really awesome that they do that. Um, there's not really much see, I really adore that kind of stuff. I know in Christianity you got a lot of people that think that you have to work your way to heaven, which goes against a lot of stuff that I know to be true, goes against the plan of salvation, God's free gift of grace. He already gave us that. So we don't have to work our way to heaven. Jesus already died for us. So he's now he is interceding for us to go to heaven. We don't have to do anything. we are going to heaven regardless. He is interceding for us to go to heaven already. We don't have, so it's not up to us to go to heaven. He already paid the price. We are going to heaven. He died for us. He paid for the sin of the world. He didn't pay for those that accept the works, those that'll work their way. He didn't pay for those that'll do that. He paid for the sins of those of the world. He didn't pay for those that'll work anything, do works. And like I said before, he didn't pay for those who have the theology right or anything. And now he didn't pay for those that'll, and he didn't die for those that'll do the best kind of works, the most pious people. In fact, in the New Testament, he was really mad, like you can see in the Gospels, he called the Pharisees and the Sadducees, serpents, which would be equivalent today to effers, that's, I mean, so you can see it's not aligned with the Bible. But a lot of people still today think they have to do their good works to work their way to heaven. That's not aligned exactly with the Bible. And so they just need to work on a moral compass kind of thing instead of thinking they have to do all the, excuse me, like works for a religious reason. Just if everyone would come together and do good things like we see in the demonstrations for the uh demonstrations for the genocide of Gaza. Gaza, that's a good thing. The for the genocide of Gaza. They're doing that. They're not doing that based on any religion or for Christianity or for Islam, although it is a beautiful thing when they get down and pray and I found that beautiful. But and before I start rambling on, I better stop this again. But yeah, I think people should do good works, and that aren't based on any religion per se, that just based on morality alone, so to say. Matthew.
All right, thank you so much, Justin Helm. You shared your religious experience in a thoughtful, in a meaningful way. I appreciate it so much. Anyone watching, please, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Everybody Community. We're working on a project to make America a better place. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again, Justin.